Hey guys, Wild Willie here. I was having a little chat today with an individual about what we'd have to do if the food supply ran out and we had to go harness food. Depending on your geographical location, if you lived in or close to a wilderness area where you could hunt, trap, and maybe use a rifle or a crossbow or something to sustain food like a deer or small game or something like that, that would be different. But the reality is that most of us live in a city, in an urban setting, that I'm lucky enough where I have both options, but a lot of people don't. But there's still plenty of meat sources you can get out of a local area. It might not be the most appetizing thing, but there is small game around. Stuff like possum, raccoons, squirrels are plentiful, mourning doves, and pigeons even. Pigeons were a staple for most of the settlers that came to Canada originally. But anyways, there are ways to get them without using high-end weapons or pellet guns or anything else, and I'm going to talk about a couple of methods right now that I'm going to go over. One of them being that the mourning doves are plentiful, and so are the squirrels. You can start with the box method, which is simply, you watch on YouTube, people make bird traps all the time, just a heavy style box with some weight on top, with propped up with a stick and a string on the stick. You put the bird seed down, and boom, the birds or the squirrels or whatever go underneath it, and you just pull out the string and you trap them that way. Another good thing I'm going to recommend, which is relatively cheap and easy to use and easy to learn, is this $9 slingshot. I mean, the ammunition is endless. All you need is rocks, pretty much. You can buy, if you're interested, you can buy like the shot for it, but this can get expensive, especially if you're a bad shot and you're not the greatest. But really, a slingshot, I mean, you can get relatively close to squirrels and mourning doves and stuff like that to shoot them, and there's a source of food. Another one, I trapped on trap lines for a long time. I know people that worked on trap lines for a long time, and you know what? You can set 50 snares, and you're lucky maybe to get something in one or two of them over a 2 or 3 day period. I prefer in my bug out bag, I don't carry snare wire. I don't have snare wire in any of my kits. What I do carry is at home and in my bug out bag, and when I go into the wilderness, is these rat traps. Rat traps with a hole right here, drilled through so I can tie off some paracord or a wire, tie it to something, and off I go. Rat traps with a bit of peanut butter thrown out in the bush or thrown out on a fence top or near where there's squirrels have a great success rate. I've seen guys put out three rat traps and get 3 squirrels in a matter of an hour and a half, compared to setting 20 or 30 snares and going 2 or 3 days without anything. Rat traps are a brilliant thing. If the shit hit the fan and there is, things start to deteriorate, there is going to be a plethora of rats. You can set these rat traps for them. You can catch possum at night. You can catch raccoon. You can catch squirrels. There's a lot of rabbits coming up in urban areas. You might be able to get a hold of one of them. But your odds are much greater with a couple rat traps than there is snare wire. I know some people are going to disagree, but it's an easy, quick method, relatively easy, quick method. You put that rat trap down and put some peanut butter on it, and if there's squirrels around, you're going to get one, chances are. And it's a hell of a lot better odds than setting snare wires along fences or along squirrel routes or trying to snare birds and stuff like that. Very little skill needed for these things, and they're relatively cheap to buy. And if you set up 10, 20 of them, God only knows, you could probably fill half in a day if there's a heavier enough squirrel or population around. So that's just a couple things I use, or I can use if I had to, for survival, for getting a source of meat, a source of protein over long term. I thought I'd just share that with you. So if anyone else has got any ideas, I'd love to hear them outside of using firearms to shoot something, or crossbows or bow and arrows or anything like that. This is a relatively cheap, inexpensive, and inexperienced way to do it. So anyways, I'm signing off right now. Remember, it's not a question of if the shit hits the fan, it's a question of when. So always be prepared.